Welcome back. Happy Halloween, everybody. So yeah, this is kind of a costume-esque. It is an excuse for me to wear this wonderful scarf. My wife made me. It took her over 2 years. I know it took a long time because it is an actual recreation of the Fourth Doctor's scarf. So if you've watched Doctor Who and you've watched any of the Fourth Doctor, or just look up his scarf, this is huge. I've got a double wrapped around my neck. It is still on the floor on both sides. So this is my TARDIS jersey. If you don't like Doctor Who, well, I don't know what. Hey, but they've got new specials coming out next month. Now's a good time to jump in. All right, so starting off with the LA Kings and the Toronto Maple Leafs. It was Talbot versus Wall in this one. Cylon helmets being worn by the Kings as they wore their thirds. Thus the reason I have that magnet on the board, and also it's a fun magnet. So early back and forth, the Kings pressed at a minute and a half. They're kept to the outside. The lone shot on net 3 minutes in was LA. And really, they were controlling Toronto really, really well in that first period and kind of throughout. Kempe has a shot that's blocked. There's a power play for Toronto. They cycle. Nylander fires one wide. Kings with back-to-back clears. They kill it off. No shots for Toronto on that power play. And then Engelland scores his first NHL goal. It wasn't beautiful, but he can tell his grandkids it was. Dubois with the assist at 6:38. So it deflects in on a net drive, and Engelland in his 89th game gets his first goal. Fiala then has a backhand that's saved as LA looks for another. Gregor has a shot that's held. There's some pushing. The shots are 4-2 LA at 8.5 minutes. Laferriere has a rush chance that's defended. Kampf has a shot that's caught and held. The Kings press with 8.5 minutes left, and they score. Dano buries one back door. Moore and Spence with the assists at 11:40. Trevor Moore's having an excellent season for the LA Kings. That line with Dano is just working yet again. Lizotte has a rush chance that deflects out. Nylander's then denied on a net drive. We get a power play for the Kings. That's killed off. The Kings press after. Marner Chadomi, near miss there. The fans call one. The referee does not. Kings press with a minute and a half left. We go over 6 minutes without a whistle to finish this period. Nice and just getting it done. So I did go out trick-or-treating for a bit. So I did miss the first part of the second period. I know the Leafs had a power play, and I know it was killed off before I came back. And when I came back, the Kings are on a power play. And it's winding down. So I was ready to put up Kings get a power play, and it's killed off. However, Kaliev, towards the end of it, I think there was 12 seconds left in it. He scores from Fiala and Byfield at 9:45. And that was right after Wall had denied him. So that makes it 3-0 for the Kings. The Leafs get a power play. Tavares is denied. They cycle. Nylander has a net drive. That's saved. Klingberg has a shot. That's blocked. Domi has a shot that's held. The power play's killed off. Kings are really limiting chances for Toronto at this point. Shots are 8-7 for Toronto with 7 minutes left. Dubois has a shot that's tipped wide as the Kings press. Anderson has a screenshot that's held. Lizotte fires one wide on a rush. Matthews is denied in close. And then the Kings were a crossbar away from 4-0. This could have got uglier than what it was in the second period. No sustained press for Toronto. So they get some one-and-dones. They get some shots, but not the kind of pressure you want, especially at home to get your crowd fired up. So Byfield has a shot that's blocked as the Kings press. The Boo Birds are out at this stage, and the Leafs get pinned down for most of the remaining 2.5 minutes in this period. There's a Bronx cheer when the Leafs clear it briefly. So, these Leafs just came off of a pretty successful road trip. The first game back after a road trip can be difficult. Kaliev has a shot that deflects wide. It's really all Kings, and then the Boo Birds are out at the end of the period as well. So it's 3-0 LA after 2. Third period, early back and forth, pretty good, but it favors the Kings because it's wide open and there's a lot of time going off the clock. That favors the team that has the 3-goal lead. Domi has a shot that's held, and they're having trouble getting to the net. So again, they're getting those shots. They're not getting the second opportunities. They're not getting into the dirty areas and getting those goals. Kampf then has a shot that's kicked aside. The Kings press at 3.5 minutes and keeping the crowd quiet. Lewis to Grunstrom, there's a near miss there. The Kings killing time, pinning it along the boards. A lot of time along the boards with that puck. They cycle. Kampf clears. There's a power play for the Kings. Fans are unhappy and getting kind of restless. Sort of like my rabbits throwing stuff around. He's not happy. Anyways, I'll find out why he's not happy when I'm done this video. So rabbits kind of get like cats. You don't pay attention, they start throwing stuff. So the Leafs cycle, the Kings cycle, Kampf clears it out, and that power play is killed off. Then there's too many Kings on the ice, so the Leafs get a power play, and at 8:25, Tavares scores to get the Leafs on the board from Marner and Riley. So it's a top corner snipe, and that gets the crowd into it. The fans are going. You get some Go Leafs Go chants going. Nylander's denied. The Leafs had some momentum, but in close, there's a nice little tic-tac-toe play, and Kempe buries it. Kopitar and Byfield with the assists at 12-13. So that's 2 assists in the game for Byfield. And then Byfield has a net feed that's picked off as now the fans are taken out of it, and it kind of took the Leafs out of it too. The Leafs press with 4.5 minutes left, with 2:45 left. Domi, who's clearly ticked off with how the game's going, he throws a cross-check, and he slashes. I'm trying to remember, I think it was Fiala. He was slashing, trying to get him going, and Fiala just points up at the scoreboard like, whatever. Like, he's not going to fight him with that amount of time left. So the Kings get a power play, and they don't put the top unit out there, which I totally get. You're going to put your fourth line out there because it's late in the game. You don't want to, encourage any negative behavior there. So the Bluebirds were out there to close it out after that power play is killed, but your final score is 4-1 for the Kings. Sorry, had to let Shadow out. All right, so your final score is 4-1 for the LA Kings. LA 5-2-2 on the season. Toronto drops to 5-3-1. So LA, really, really solid road game tonight. Really didn't give Toronto much daylight other than the goal for Tavares. So the shots on net, 7-5 LA in the first, 13-10 Toronto in the second, 12-10 Toronto in the third. Final shots, 30-27 for the Leafs. Power plays, both teams 1 for 4 on the power play. The hits, both teams had 18, so very even there. Talbot saves 29 out of 30. He was very good. Woll, 23 saves on 27 shots. I don't know if I'd put any of it on him, but yeah, you probably go with Samsonov in the next game. All right, moving on. Vancouver at home against Nashville. This was a very back and forth game. I don't think Vancouver played a great 60 minutes, but they were good when they had to be. So it's Lankinen versus Demko. The Canucks have a 3-on-2. That's defended by Nashville. There's a penalty shot for Foudy, and he stumbles as he's going in for the penalty shot. He did manage to get a shot off, but he fires it wide. So that's going to end up being on highlight reels, and that's too bad for Liam Foudy. He's a good player, I promise. So early edge for Nashville. Nyquist fires one wide on a rush. Trennan can't bury one in close. The shots on net are only 3-2, though, for Nashville 5 minutes in. Hughes has a chance that's held. Yossi's then denied from the slot. Craig Smith deflects one wide as the Preds get some pressure there. Pettersson is denied on a 3-on-2. Myers has a screenshot. That saved. There was a post for Garland. Joshua couldn't bury the rebound. And then a puck deflects over, and it's one of those bonkers, weird goals that ends up going into the net. Lafferty credited with the goal. Hughes and Beauvillier with the assists at 13:45. That is point number 250 for Quinn Hughes. He's a quarter of a way to 1,000. Anyways, the Canucks are 4-0 scoring first coming into this game. And Nashville must have heard that and thought, well, we can end that. At 16:10, they answer. It's Sissons from Yossi and Foudy, and it was after Demko tried a poke check that doesn't quite work out. Poor defensive coverage by Vancouver there, too. And then Nashville gets a lead. It's Fabro from Forsberg and O'Reilly at 16:40. That was through a screen on a good press. Demko never saw it. So now it's 2-1 for Nashville. Canucks press for a response. 2:34 left. The Preds get the power play. So Miller wasn't happy with the penalty being called on him. He let the referee know, and the referee said, all right, so I'll throw you an extra 2 minutes. This leads to a ref you suck chant because now it's a 4-minute power play for Nashville. Barry has a shot that's tipped and held, and then during the second 2 minutes of that power play, it becomes 4-on-4 for 1 minute and 30 seconds. So that rolls over into the second period, and during that early 4-on-4, Pettersson wires one from the slot at 53 seconds from Quinn Hughes and Mikheyev. So he wires that one from the slot. That's the first 4-on-4 goal for the Canucks this season, and it ties the game at 2. Suter has a shot that's held during a brief power play by Vancouver on the other end of this, and everything's killed off there. Canucks then look for the lead. There's a press by Nashville at 4.5 minutes. Cole, he has a clearing attempt that's picked off, and then another. So Cole having trouble clearing the zone there. Miller has a net feed that's picked off. Nashville rushes. Trennan has a shot deflect wide. Forsberg can't bury one. Nashville building some momentum at this point, and this is where Vancouver needs to answer, and they would. So Yossi has a net drive that's defended. Hughes then had a shot that was blocked as Vancouver gets some pressure. Neither team is getting to the net halfway through the period as the fireworks continue. Barry has a screenshot that's held. Sherwood's denied on a rush. There's a press by Nashville with 7.5 minutes left. Miller back to the box. So 6 penalty minutes for him. He would get parked for a little while. So Talkett's sending a little bit of a message there during that game. So Pred cycle, Yossi has a shot that's kicked aside. The Canucks clear. The Canucks then get a power play after the kill. So this is where, it's important. You've had that penalty against you, and you get the power play. Well, they have an early cycle, and then through a screen, Pettersson, far corner, he scores his second goal of the period from Kuzmenko and Hronek at 16:36. Mikheyev's then denied on a rush as the Canucks have the momentum back, and they're looking for more. There's a press by Nashville in the final minute, but after 2 periods of play, it is 3-2 for Vancouver. Third period, Canucks press at 2 minutes, then there's a power play for Nashville. It lasts 8 seconds. So both teams having trouble with getting full power plays in this game. So we have 1 minute and 52 seconds of 4-on-4. And again, during the 4-on-4, Vancouver gets a goal. It's JT Miller from Besser and Hughes at 4:08. Buries a loose puck on a good press. So there's Besser with an assist there. It might have gone in, if not, even because in the end it's Lankinen that ends up nudging to cross the line, but still Miller gets his stick on the puck last before Lankinen puts it in. Nashville presses for a response. Everything's killed off because it's only an 8-second power play on the other end, right? Shots are 5-1 Vancouver, 6.5 minutes in. McDonough has a shot that's blocked. Suter prevents a Novak chance as Nashville's pushing to try to get back and within 1. O'Reilly's denied and close. The Canucks are turning it over. A little bit too much of the turnovers, and I think one thing Tocchet might be working on tomorrow is just closing out this game and some of that sloppy play in the defensive zone. It doesn't burn them tonight, but it's something you want to make sure is not becoming a habit. So Joshua was denied on a 3-on-2 rush. Garland then had a shot that was saved. Yossi nearly buries one. Canucks again, a little sloppy there. Hughes has a rush chance that's saved and held. Goalie pull happens with 3.5 minutes left, and that allows Pettersson to get the hat-trick goal. He scores at 17:02. Beauvillier and Myers with the assist. The fans then call one. The referee doesn't because we're in the last few minutes of the game. I totally get it. I thought there were calls both ways that were kind of looked... They were not called in the third period. So at any rate, your final score is 5-2. Vancouver bounces back from an overtime loss. They win another one. They go to 6-2-1 with the win. Nashville drops to 4-5 with the loss. Shots on net, 10-9 Vancouver in the first, 9-6 Nashville in the second, 11-7 Vancouver in the third. Final shots, 27-25 for the Canucks. Power plays, Nashville 0 for 4, Vancouver 1 for 3. The hits, 27-17 for Vancouver. Lankinen saves 22 out of 26, and Demko saves 23 out of 25. So there you go. You're all caught up. Happy Halloween, everybody. And hopefully nobody gets hurt from all the fireworks. It's a lot tonight. At any rate, and just I've known horror stories in my own personal life, and my wife and I've talked about horror stories with fireworks and firecrackers. They do happen. So anyways, there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.